My name is Em and welcome back to my channel. In today's video it is going to be a Bookish Never Have I Ever video challenge. A couple weeks ago I asked on my Instagram story some Bookish Never Have I Evers that I'm going to answer for you. I hope you enjoy this video. It's going to be really fun, I hope. And yeah, let's go. Okay, I have so many responses to the Never Have I Evers, so let's get started. This is going to be so interesting because I'm so excited. Also, let me know down in the comments if you have or haven't done any of these, whatever you want to comment on any of these assumptions. But yeah, let's go. Never have I ever thrown a book across the room in annoyance at a character or plot. I don't know if I've physically thrown my book, but I definitely have felt like doing so a lot of the times. I don't know if I've physically done that though, because I'm so scared of damaging my books. I definitely have thrown a book, but like accidentally, or like dropped it and it's like flew across the room, but I don't think so. Never have I ever imagined scenarios with your book boyfriend. We all have. We all have. Let's not lie. Let's not beat around the bush. I would be lying if I said I did not imagine fighting in a war scene with either Rowan, Rhysand or Hawke. Literally any Sarah J Maas man, also any Jennifer L. Armentrout, which I've only read from Blood and Ash, but 100% I have. Never have I ever changed the dust jacket to hide what I'm reading in public. I feel like this is something that I would do, I just have not had the opportunity to do yet because I haven't been in public reading for ages, but I feel like this is definitely something I would do. When anybody asks me what I'm reading, I get so nervous because of how am I supposed to explain? I'm reading about like fae folk. Like, how am I supposed to say that, you know? Okay, never have I ever been spoiled or spoiled a book for someone else. I've definitely been spoiled, but the one that stands out to me that really upset me or annoyed me was I was spoiled for the epilogue of Clockwork Princess. If you've read this series, you do know what I'm talking about, and it really wrecked me because I was so excited for this series and it was book talk. I literally think I've only ever received spoilers from book talk. Have I ever spoiled a book? I don't think so intentionally, though I may have. Never have I ever told people I'd finished a book when I hadn't. Yeah, I feel like we all have. For a book club, I rarely ever actually read the book club picks because I'm such a mood reader. But if I'm in a group chat, I'll just fake it till I make it. I'll pretend I know what's going on unless it's a book that I don't want to be spoiled for. So there you go. Never have I ever read the last page of a book before you reached the end. Absolutely. I do this way too often. It's a bad habit. I don't do it as much anymore because I read more devastating things now, which again is concerning. A couple years ago I would have to read the last page or like a couple chapters ahead to make sure that nothing too devastating happened because I didn't want to be upset, or I wanted to like prepare myself to know what was coming or to make sure that the characters survived. I don't particularly do that much anymore, but I mean, I totally would. Never have I ever lost a book. Yes, I have. I left one on a train one time. That was really upsetting because it was my current read, and once I arrived at my destination I didn't have a book for the whole week, but I did buy more, so it was all good. And I hope somebody like picked that up and like kept it and read it or something. I hope somebody wanted it, you know. But also I lost my copy of Lily Alone, which was like my favorite book ever. I brought it everywhere with me. I don't know where it went. I think it's in my house somewhere, but I don't know. It could be literally anywhere in the country. Lauren, you're really coming at me for this one. Okay, never have I ever had to tell your parents about some of the themes in ACOTAR. Yes, I have. You see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. When I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, the first book, I was obsessed. I was like, this is so good. And as you know, there's not too many of those scenes in ACOTAR. So I recommended this to a certain member of my family. And then I read ACOMAF and regretted my whole life decision because they were starting to pick up the series and I was like, did I really just do that? But yeah, I did. So I regret it, but also it's a great series. Okay, never have I ever broken a spine unintentionally. Yes, of course I have, and I've broken them intentionally too. I know, shock horror, I don't do it to every book, but sometimes when you're reading like a big tome, I hate having to like read it without fully opening the book, so I just break it once you get to a certain point in the book. Never have I ever accidentally kept a library book. Yes, I have. I have it right here. It's What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I got this June 2019. Still have it. Don't intend on giving it back because I don't remember where I got it from. So that was an unintentional borrow, but I've also intentionally borrowed a library book. I was in my primary school library. Am I about to get sued for this? I don't think so. I was in my primary school library and there was nobody else in the classroom, and I didn't have one book to complete a series, and the school library had it. So I did a little snatch. I took it home. I borrowed it. I still have it to this day. It was a great book. I don't regret it, though maybe it wasn't the most ethical, but I'd do it again. Okay, never have I ever said you like a book when you didn't because it was hyped in the community. Yeah, I think I have. None come to mind immediately, but I feel like I definitely have done that, or I definitely feel like when I'm reading a very, very hyped book, I kind of tell myself that I like it more than I actually do. The one that comes to mind is Six of Crows. If you've been here for a long time, you know I've DNF'd that book twice, but anytime that somebody brings it up, I'm still like, yeah, it's a great book, but it's not. I don't like it. I DNF'd it twice and I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Never have I ever painted or written in your book. Actually done both. I write in my books all the time when I'm annotating. I don't annotate every single book, but when I am annotating, I do often write in my book, just like a little note in the margins. I personally like it. I try to only write in the books that I know I'm going to keep, but I have also painted the books. I think back in October I bought a book and I painted the edges of it because I wanted sprayed edges, but it was okay, but I didn't do a great job, so yeah. Okay. Never have I ever completely drenched a book in water by accident or on purpose. I have completely drenched a book. I remember Christmas morning one year I received a book and I had a glass of, I feel like it was like Fanta or like orange juice or something. It wasn't water, and I knocked it on my new book. It completely soaked the entire book. And I still kept it, I still read it, but obviously because I had literally gotten it that day, I was so devastated. I've also gotten tea stains on some books, but not that often. Never have I ever pretended to read a book because it was hyped. I don't know about this one. I think I've probably picked up a book that's hyped and then not finished it. But like if somebody says, have you read it? I'm like, yeah. But I don't do that a lot because honestly, maybe at the start of my like Bookstagram booktube I might have done that, but now I'm just like, nah, I didn't read it, I didn't like it, you know? Never have I ever re-gifted a gifted book. I think so, yeah. Sometimes people buy you books because they know you like books, but if they don't know what type of books you like, you often end up receiving a book that you wouldn't necessarily read. And obviously I'm so grateful for the gift. I definitely have passed on a book, but I don't particularly mind that, and if I gave a book to someone I wouldn't mind them passing it on, because I think there's no point holding on to books that you don't like, and I would rather somebody get some enjoyment out of it. Okay, the next one. Never have I ever bought a book solely for the cover. Practically every book on my shelf, sis, like no joke. I am a sucker for a good cover. If a book that I've never heard of has a really, really interesting, beautiful, intriguing cover, I'm there, I'm buying it, you know? It's gonna happen. I try not to buy books solely based on the cover. I do want to actually want to read the book too, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm trying, I'm improving. Never have I ever thought the movie was better than the book. Yeah, I for one absolutely love book to movie or book to TV show adaptations. I always like them, even if they're trash. It's just nice seeing your favorite book or a book that you've read taken to screen. The Book Thief, I definitely preferred the movie of The Book Thief than the book, though the book was absolutely phenomenal too. Never have I ever dropped a book on your face while reading. Definitely. It's worse when it's your phone, I feel like, unless it's a hardback, unless it's a Sarah J Maas book. I dropped Crescent City on my nose and there was like a gash across my nose for like a week because it's a big book. Never have I ever lost a library book. I feel like I didn't lose a library book, but as I said, I have intentionally borrowed permanently a library book. Gone to multiple bookshops in one day. I definitely have done this at some stage. Where I live doesn't have the biggest selection of bookshops. There's only kind of one or two. But I definitely have gone to both of those in the one day. Definitely, for sure. I love doing that. I definitely need to do that again once quarantine's over. I haven't been in a bookshop for have I ever DNF'd a book because you weren't interested in the main love interest? Let me think about this one, because I feel like, again, it's something that I would do. I mean, I DNF books all the time, but not necessarily because I don't like the love interest. Actually, Shadow and Bone. Let me just stop you there. All the characters in that are boring. The love interest, boring. I can't bring myself to read that series at all. So yes, I have. Never have I ever threw a book because I was mad at the main character. Again, I don't know if I've thrown the book, but I definitely feel secondhand embarrassment all the time. Okay, never have I ever screamed while reading a book. I'm gonna say I have not. I have felt like it, and I've probably like gasped, but I feel like everybody would be very, very concerned if I literally screamed while reading. Never have I ever had a dream about a certain character. Who? I probably have, but like when I'm dreaming, they're the character but they look different or they have a different name or something. I think mostly would probably be Hawk from Blood and Ash, absolutely. Rhysand, absolutely, self-explanatory. I've definitely dreamt about Selena Sardothian too, because she's just a badass, and what I wouldn't give to have like a Netflix movie night with her or to like go shopping with her. Never have I ever ripped a page out of a book. I have not ripped a page out of a book, like a full page, but I've definitely ripped a page. I hate when it happens, but sometimes when you're like turning the page and it catches in a certain way and it rips, it breaks my heart, it breaks my soul. But I have definitely done that, but I've never actually torn out a page. I've seen people like tear up a book and like make a collage on the wall. It looks so pretty, but how could you do that, you know? I couldn't. Never have I ever lied about reading a famous book. Yeah, I say that I read Little Women, but really I read 3/4 of Little Women, went to see the movie, watched that about 5 times, but I never went back to finish the book. So technically I have not read it, but I have because I know the story inside out. Never have I ever read a Cassandra Clare book. I have read one Cassandra Clare book. I have read Clockwork Angel. I want to read all of her books. I don't know, there's a lot. There's like 6 books in the Mortal Instruments that are all bad apparently, and I don't think I want to put myself through that. Also, the size of the Dark Artifice books is intimidating, but there's so many novellas, there's so many different series that you need to read before you can read different ones. It's so complicated. Never have I ever bought 30+ books in 1 month. Listen, this is a self call out, but yeah, probably that is one of my goals for this year, to track every single book that I buy. But I bought so many books last year. Literally the majority of my shelves were bought in 2020. Lockdown was hard. But you know what made it easier? Receiving 62 parcels a week. That is an exaggeration, but not by much. So I don't know if it's actually been 30+, but I have definitely bought a lot of books in a month. Never have I ever read more than 3 books at a time. I mean, I feel like I have. I think there was one stage in 2019 where I was reading 8 books at a time, and that was such a stressful time. Definitely one of my resolutions for last year that I actually stuck to for the whole year was to only read 1 book at a time, because it made me get through them so fast. Because then if you're reading 1 book, if you have time to read, you read that book, so you finish the books really fast. Whereas if you're reading 4 books, if you have half an hour to read, you're like, which book do I pick up? And you're making like 10 pages progress in 4 different books, and it just takes a lot longer to finish. Personally, that's what I find. So yes, I have, but I would not like to be doing that anymore. Okay, there's only a couple left, but the next one is, never have I ever dropped a book in water or left it out in the rain or something. As I said, I have dropped water on my books. I don't panic too much when I drop water on my books unless it's like a colossal amount, because usually water doesn't stain and it just like dries in, though it does leave them a little crinkled. Have I left it out in the rain? I don't know. I feel like that would be something I would remember if it happened. This is the last one, and it is, never have I ever used random things as bookmarks. We all have. I used to use receipts all the time, and I bought books since I was probably about 3 or 4 years old. Every Saturday, me and my dad used to go to the shopping centre, go to this bookshop, buy a book or 2, and then go to Costa or Starbucks and read for the afternoon, and it was literally the most fun time of my life. So I used to use the receipt or like a part of the bag or some sort of like paper item for a bookmark. Recently I actually have a lot of bookmarks, like proper bookmarks, that I like to use because I like matching my book to my bookmark. It's a ridiculous thing to do, but I absolutely love matching my book to my bookmark. Like if the book is pink, I'll choose a pink bookmark. If the book is about stars, I'll use a bookmark with stars on, and it makes me happy. So I definitely have, and I do it all the time. I did it all the time, but now I try to use proper bookmarks simply because I like them. Also, I don't really see anything wrong with dog-earing pages. I know this one didn't come up, but never have I ever dog-eared pages. Yep, would do it again. I don't make a habit of it simply because I don't need to, but I would. I mean, I don't really see anything wrong with it. If it's your book, you can do what you like to it. Okay guys, that is it. This has been such a fun video to film. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see more videos like this or what type of videos you would like to see. Thank you for sending in your never have I ever questions. This is so fun. If you have any more questions that you wanted to ask never have I ever, let me know down in the comments and I will answer them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Stay safe, stay amazing, stay kind, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.